Good afternoon everyone. This is a video about the Technicolor DGA0122 router. In this instance it's provided for a fibre to the premises or full fibre service, and you can see from the ISP Andrews & Arnold, or otherwise known as AA ISP. In the box is a card containing the username and password on the router and some details about the line that it's been ordered on. That has been put in by the ISP and contains personal info, so I'm afraid I can't show that. Then Andrews & Arnold, I think, yes, must do provide this quick start guide on how to use it, how to plug it in, and in fact what all of the lights do. Well, not all of them, but what some of the lights do. Moving on to what's in the box. Power supply. You get a UK plug which goes onto this universal power thing, so it could be used in any other country if you have the correct snap-on, so it's easy for Technicolor, the manufacturer, to supply multiple countries with one power adapter. And it is a 12 volts 1.5 amps power supply. Interesting they're not used zip ties or a rubber band there. That's a bit of cardboard going around the bundled up cable, which is very nice. Very ecological, although everything did come in plastic bags. And this looks like fairly standard power jack on that. This one comes with an Ethernet, a telephone, okay, the RJ11 telephone cable, which isn't going to be used because it's a fibre to the cabinet service, full fibre service, and then comes with an Ethernet cable. Addendum, I will say, I've just noticed that along with the power supply, which had cardboard holding stuff together, that these have what looks like paper rope holding them together rather than twisty ties, which is pretty cool. So I'm not sure whether that's the internet provider who's done that, or whether Technicolor are being proactively ecological. Pretty amazing. Okay, the interesting part now is the router. Move this box out of the way. So that's what the router looks like with its lights. You've got a status light, which also is a tactile button you can press. Broadband light, internet light, wireless light for 2.4 GHz, wireless light for 5 GHz, WPS status light, so that would flash if you enable WPS, Ethernet TV, not sure what that will do, telephone, which will be to do with the SIP or the port on the back, and then wireless on and off, which is very interesting to have on the top of the router rather than a WPS button. Left side of the router you have the WPS button. I, as a user of routers, would actually prefer that to be the WPS button and that to be the wireless on and off. So that's a bit strange. USB port going on to the right hand side, there's absolutely nothing. And at the back you have two telephone ports, phone 1, phone 2, a DSL port, so that's if you're using FTTC or ADSL, 4 Ethernet ports, and then one red WAN port for cable connections or full fibre connections where they use a modem only. Power socket, power button, and then recessed in here is a tiny reset button. On the underside of the router we've got some information about the logon default IP address, not sure what the access key is, but possibly a default password, and then wireless default name and default password. One interesting thing to note with these Technicolor, or previous to that their old name Thompson, is the first 4 letters of the serial number, first 4 numbers of the serial number is its manufacturing year and week. So this was manufactured 2021 in week 49. so towards the end of the year in 2021. So that was 1.5 amps. It also says there 2 amps or 1.5 amps for its power supply. So it's a bit strange why they just didn't put 1.5 amps, because a power supply providing any more than that is absolutely fine. So it's unusual that they've actually stipulated 2 amps there. You've got a wall mounting point, so it can actually be wall mounted in any of the 4 axes there. And let's plug it in. It's also important to note that these routers can quite often be configured the first time they get connected to the ISP. So if you turn it on now, and I'm fully expecting it with this one, it'll be in almost a factory default setup. Then, the first time it manages to connect over the internet, it will reach out to a TR69 or an auto configuration server and get further details and further settings. So in its default setup, it'll probably have the username and password on the bottom of the router, and then after it's reached out to my ISP, it will then have the details which are provided on this card, because it will go out to them, ask them what settings it's supposed to have, and then it will change its settings. So we'll see how long this takes to boot, which is probably going to be quite a while, because consumer routers do seem to take an absolute age to start up. While we're waiting for that, there'll also probably be a couple of other videos in the description of this video. So if you want to see a video on how to factory reset this router, there'll be one there, and there might also be another video of all the web admin interface pages of this router. So if you want to know what the web admin looks like, or where you change settings for various functions on this router, that will almost certainly be a video that I'll make as well. So I'm guessing that's booted up. We've got, don't know what the status light being red means. In fact, this may even tell me. Status light red, steady red, internet is not connected, which is what we'd expect. And I also expect, if I plug this in just to a plain Ethernet connection, it will not connect, because it's in the UK, we'll be trying to do PPPoE. So I suspect that will just carry on flashing red for the internet light. What does their manual say it would do? Internet light blinking red, attempting to connect. Yeah, so that won't connect because I do not yet have a full fibre connection. So there we go. I hope you enjoyed looking at the physical parts of this Technicolor router. If the video has been helpful to you, it would be really helpful to me if you wouldn't mind subscribing to my YouTube channel. You don't need to have the video notifications switched on, but the subscriber numbers really do help. Thank you very much.